Loneliness after 60 can kill you. Do this to stay emotionally strong alone. Have you ever sat in a quiet room and felt like the silence was just too loud? Maybe the TV's on, the windows are open, and the world outside is still turning. But something inside just feels empty. That feeling? It's not just a passing mood. For many of us after 60, it's loneliness creeping in quietly, even when we're technically not alone. You see, as we grow older, life changes. Kids grow up and move away. Friends drift apart. Some loved ones are no longer with us. And even when people check in or call occasionally, it's not the same as having someone right there beside you, sharing your daily moments. But here's the thing. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's something that can actually harm your health. Yes, really. Studies have shown that chronic loneliness, it can increase your risk of heart disease, weaken your immune system, and even shorten your lifespan. That's how powerful it is. But before you think this is all bad news, let me say this. You don't have to be surrounded by people to feel strong, fulfilled, and emotionally resilient. You really don't, because emotional strength doesn't come from the number of people around you. It comes from within. And today I want to share with you 5 powerful ways to stay emotionally strong and joyful without needing to rely on others. Let's start by talking about the first and most important thing, your daily routine. I know it might sound basic, but having a structured, predictable rhythm to your day gives your mind something to hold on to. When every day feels aimless or uncertain, the hours start to blur together. But when you wake up knowing exactly what you'll do next, whether it's a walk, watering the plants, writing in a journal, or just enjoying your favorite breakfast, you create little anchors throughout your day. These anchors give your mind a sense of security. They say, hey, this day has purpose. You have purpose. Think about how powerful that is. Even just having a morning ritual, a cup of tea, a few stretches, and a look through the newspaper can give your day a gentle but meaningful start. You don't have to do anything grand. What matters is that it's yours, and it makes you feel grounded. When you commit to a daily rhythm that feels nourishing, you naturally build emotional strength from the inside out. It's like giving your soul a soft place to land every morning. Now let's talk about something that can completely change your emotional landscape. Creative expression. And no, you don't have to be an artist, a poet, or a musician to be creative. Creativity is simply the act of putting something out into the world that didn't exist before, something that reflects you. It could be anything. Drawing, knitting, baking, dancing in your living room when no one's watching, singing a little tune while you wash the dishes. Yes, that counts too. When you create, you're not just filling time, you're filling yourself. You're expressing curiosity, maybe even grief, but in a way that gives it shape. And when something has shape, it's less overwhelming. One woman I spoke to said she started painting watercolors at 68 after her husband passed. I wasn't trying to be good, she told me. I just wanted to feel alive again. And she did. Every brushstroke was her way of breathing again. And here's the magic. Creative expression is something you control. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up or a call from your children. You can pick up a pen or paintbrush anytime, anywhere. It's yours. That kind of self-sufficiency builds deep emotional resilience. Because even in quiet moments, you're never really alone. You're creating, feeling, connecting with something that comes from inside you. There's something else that might surprise you. Physical movement, even just a little bit, can have a huge impact on your emotional well-being. We often think of exercise as something we do to stay fit or lose weight, but it's actually one of the most powerful emotional tools we have. Movement gets your blood flowing, lifts your mood, and clears your mind. It releases chemicals in your brain, like endorphins and dopamine, that literally make you feel better. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. Just moving your body every day, even in small ways, can light up your spirit. It could be a walk around the block, dancing to your favorite song in the kitchen, or simple stretches in your chair. One gentleman I met said he started doing gentle yoga in his living room every morning. At first I felt silly, he laughed, but now I feel like I'm saying good morning to my own body. That's powerful. And while we're on the subject of movement, let's not forget how much nature can heal us. If you can, try to spend even 10 minutes outside every day. Look at the trees, Feel the breeze. Let the sun touch your face. There's something deeply comforting about being in nature, especially when things feel still or heavy. The world keeps moving, the leaves keep rustling, the birds keep singing, and you're part of that rhythm too. By now, you can probably feel the pattern forming. These small habits, your morning routine, your creative expressions, your movement, your moments in nature, they all work together to keep you emotionally strong, steady, and centered. They don't depend on anyone else. You can do them anytime, just you and your own beautiful spirit. And when you build that kind of inner life, loneliness starts to lose its power over you. You're not just passing time. You're living it, shaping it, making it yours. Now, as you move through your day with a gentle rhythm, adding little moments of creativity and movement, you start to feel more like you again. Not just someone filling the hours, but someone living them. And when that inner light starts to flicker on, even just a little, the world doesn't feel quite as cold anymore. But let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when it comes to emotional strength. Self-talk. The way you speak to yourself, out loud or in your mind, can either lift you up or quietly pull you down. And here's the truth most people don't say out loud. After 60, it becomes easier to be hard on yourself. You might start thinking, I'm not as useful as I used to be, or nobody needs me anymore. Maybe you even catch yourself saying, I'm just a burden. But let me ask you something. Would you ever say those words to someone you love? Of course not. So why say them to yourself? Changing your inner voice doesn't mean pretending everything's perfect. It just means being kind to yourself in the same way you'd be kind to a dear friend. When you wake up in the morning, try saying something small but gentle. I'm here, I matter. Today is mine. It might feel strange at first, but your brain listens. Your heart listens. Over time, those words become your foundation. And when you make a mistake or feel a little down, don't beat yourself up. Instead, talk to yourself the way you would to someone you care about, with patience, with gentleness, with warmth. It's okay to feel this way. You're doing your best. Those small phrases can soften even the hardest moments. One woman told me she started writing notes to herself on her bathroom mirror. Little things like, you are enough, and smile at yourself today. At first it seemed silly, but a few weeks in, she said it actually made a difference. I started smiling without even thinking about it. She said, it reminded me I was still in there. And that's the beauty of it. You're still in there. You've just got to remind yourself sometimes. And another powerful way to build emotional strength without relying on anyone else is this: learning something new. It doesn't matter how old you are. Your brain is still curious, still eager to stretch and grow. And learning something, even something small, gives you a sense of accomplishment that's hard to beat. You don't need to sign up for a university course or master calculus. Maybe it's just learning how to use a new app on your phone, or trying a new recipe, or picking up a new hobby you've always been curious about: gardening, photography, even birdwatching. The act of learning tells your mind you're not done yet. You're still growing, still evolving. And here's something beautiful about learning solo. It's yours. No pressure, no competition, no deadlines. Just you exploring something new at your own pace. One gentleman told me he started teaching himself how to play harmonica after his wife passed. I sit by the window, play a few notes, and it feels like she's listening, he said. It gives me peace. That's what learning can do. It gives your heart somewhere to go. And while we're on the subject of peace, let's take a moment to talk about solitude versus loneliness. It's important to understand the difference. Loneliness is feeling empty, disconnected, unseen. But solitude, when embraced on your terms, can actually be one of the most empowering emotional states there is. Solitude is when you choose to be alone and you fill that space with something meaningful. It could be reading a book that stirs something deep inside, sitting on the porch and listening to the wind in the trees, drinking tea slowly while watching the sunrise. Solitude is a gift when you learn how to sit with yourself without fear, when you stop needing noise or distraction to feel okay. One man told me he started setting aside 20 minutes a day, just 20 minutes, for pure quiet. No phone, no TV, no conversation. Just him and the present moment. At first it was uncomfortable, but over time, It became his favorite part of the day. I found peace there, he said, and I found myself again. And that's what this is really about, isn't it? Finding yourself again. After the kids are grown, after the routines change, after some doors close, finding yourself not in someone else's shadow, not in someone else's plans, but right there in your own presence. Strong, capable, whole. It's easy to think emotional strength is something that comes from being surrounded by others. But real emotional strength, the kind that holds up even when the phone doesn't ring, is the strength that comes from within. From how you move, how you speak to yourself, what you choose to do with your time. You don't have to wait for someone to check in on you to feel alive. You don't have to be at the center of a busy household to matter. Right here, in your own space, you can create joy, purpose, even magic. Because the truth is, you're never too old to reconnect with your own power. You're never too far gone to feel deeply whole again. And if the thought of starting all this feels overwhelming, don't worry. You don't have to do it all at once. Start with one little shift, one new habit, one kind word to yourself. That's how real, lasting emotional strength begins. Not with grand changes, but with gentle ones. When you start to build a life filled with quiet moments of purpose, gentle routines, kind words, and little joys, something inside you shifts. You stop waiting for the phone to ring. You stop checking the door, wondering if someone will come by, because you've created something steady inside yourself, something unshakable. But let's talk about one more way to nurture emotional strength without depending on anyone else. And that's serving a purpose beyond yourself. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I'm retired. I've done my share of service. I just want to rest. And that's fair. You absolutely deserve rest. But here's something most people don't talk about. Even small acts of purpose, especially the ones we choose ourselves, can bring a deep sense of connection and fulfillment that chases loneliness right out the door. You don't need to lead a big organization or be on your feet all day. Purpose can be quiet. Purpose can be simple. Maybe it's writing a note and mailing it to someone who's going through a hard time. Maybe it's picking up a piece of trash at the park. Maybe it's watering your neighbor's flowers when they're out of town. Maybe it's sharing a story from your life with a younger person who needs a little guidance. One woman told me she started making little bookmarks with kind messages on them and leaving them in library books for strangers to find. It's like sending a tiny hug into the world, she said. And you know what? That's purpose. That's meaning. That's emotional strength in action. Because when you do something, no matter how small, that makes the world a little better. Without needing applause, approval, or attention, you reconnect with your own value. You're reminded that you still have something to offer, and that truth can fill you up in ways that no conversation or visit ever could. Purpose doesn't have to be a project either. Sometimes it's just showing up fully for your own life, taking care of your home, keeping your body healthy, choosing joy when it's easier to choose nothing at all. Those are powerful acts of self-respect, and they count. Now, I want you to think about something for a second. Think about all the storms you've already lived through, the hard days, the heartbreaks, the losses, the disappointments. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still standing, still you. That alone says something about your strength. Sometimes we forget just how resilient we are, especially when life gets quiet. But you've carried yourself through so many chapters already. That strength is still inside you. It hasn't gone anywhere. So instead of seeing this stage of life as the end of the road, what if you saw it as a return to yourself? A time when you finally get to shape your life the way you want. With peace, with beauty, with freedom, no obligations, no noise, just a steady rhythm that belongs to you. And yes, the quiet can feel lonely sometimes. That's okay. Everyone feels that way now and then. But when that feeling comes, let it be a reminder. Not that you're alone, but that your heart still wants connection, joy, meaning. And that's a beautiful thing. It means you're still alive, still reaching, still growing. So what can you do right now, today, to honor that part of yourself? Maybe it's as simple as stepping outside and breathing in the morning air. Maybe it's trying that hobby you've been putting off. Maybe it's moving your body gently to your favorite music. or starting a gratitude journal where you write down one thing that made you smile each day. These aren't distractions. They're medicine. They're nourishment. They remind you that your life still matters, right here, right now, whether anyone's watching or not. And if ever you feel like no one sees you, I want you to remember this. You see you. You know your story. You know your strength, and you can choose to love yourself through the quiet, through the doubts, through the slow days. You can be your own steady hand. So let's make a promise, you and I. Let's promise that we won't wait for someone else to bring joy to our doorstep. Let's promise that we'll keep creating it in small ways every single day. Through our routines, through our creativity, through our movement, our self-talk, our purpose, because the truth is you don't have to be surrounded by people to be deeply connected to life. You just need to stay connected to yourself. And if you've listened this far, I want to say something from the heart. I'm proud of you. It's not always easy to look at these things. It takes courage to face loneliness and choose strength instead. But here you are, choosing to keep going, choosing to grow, choosing to feel. That's no small thing. That's everything. So take a moment right now, breathe deeply, smile even just a little, and say it quietly to yourself if you can. I'm still here. I still matter. And I choose to live fully.